Would you quit a job if you say had spent 6 years already in MIT, right? One of the most reputed college in US, and did neurosurgeon successfully. That takes about, according to him, I was listening to watching a video of this guy. You should watch it. Plain and simple channel, very plain. I think Gobi and Dobie, something like that. The Dobie is the name of his dog. The Dobie has a huge part to play into who he has become. So he's no longer a neurosurgeon. Let me sit. But he once went to MIT and did a medical and did doctor, neurosurgeon. Spent 6 years doing it. So overall spent 12 plus years in the medical, from the college to getting the degree, getting a job, and he quit. It was a story about him. It was such an interesting, I just bumped into this story. I was watching it, and then the title itself was interesting. So when I opened the channel, opened the video, first few minutes was boring, but then it got interesting afterwards. The title said, I was MIT student, neurosurgeon, and I quit, something of that line. So the curiosity would be why he quit, right? The whole story. I think it's an hour-long video. Video has no edit, surprisingly. So it's not always the edit, and it's a story, you know, it's a content. So he talks about why he quit, and I was waiting to that point, but he goes the storytelling in detail, right? This was in the backdrop was a mountain, sound of a nature, and like I mentioned, no edit. So in some places there's a pause for like 15 seconds that he would just scratch his head, think about it, recollect his thoughts. But the big reason why he quit was it was because he loved his dog. And then it's so interesting. Think about this, okay? If you have a pet, many of you may have pet dog. Dog lives for I don't know how long, 20 years at max. I could be off, right? I'm sorry if I'm ignorant. So he said, if I have a dog, and then if I want to see a dog, and given that he lives full length life, which is 70, 75, 80, God willing, the dog definitely will leave him before he leaves. With that in mind, he wanted to be with the dog, create some memories. So that is the one reason. And then other factors, there were so many other factors. One of the other factors was the medical field, right? The reason why he became doctor, it wasn't to make a lot of money, but as he was moving forward, the doctors, the association, the heads, administrator, or the people who running the show in the hospital that he was in, he worked as an intern, and he become, what do you call this, a new doctor. In those periods, he talks about being in mental health issue that he had to go through. And then one of the deepest reason that caught my attention was that he was into a noble thinking, the business of medical, getting people healthier wasn't their main objectives. It should be, right? You go to hospital or any doctor you visit, that you would think that you're in a safe hand, and their interest is your interest of getting you better, making you feel good. But their instruction was clear. So that was a storyline. And think about it, if all doctors comes to do their business and get you healed and get you fit and makes you all good, it's not going to serve their purpose so well. Organization that he was working for, corporate structure, so they have their own line of thinking. They also want to make money as a corporation. So he was just a small part of their big organization, in other words. So they have the guidelines, the policies, and a lot of time their policy wasn't aligned to Mr. Gobi's alignment. As time progressed, he did not felt that he belonged there. So eventually it's a story about him quitting it and doing what he does now. And one of the interesting thing, another video of him when I watched it, he talks about the internet that we use today, you'll be gone. He estimates in next 50 years. Most likely I won't be there. But then if no internet, what would it be like? 50 years ago, no internet. We didn't have internet. Some of the things they have done from those days, it's as amazing, right? Even better than what today's technologies have built. For instance, building those tombs, those Egyptian pyramids. I mean, it's just one example, like Taj Mahal in India. Yes, I'm like, what? Then I went into the length of the video, talks about a big thing. Like, how many of us are aware of fossil fuel, right? The fossil fuel, the fuel that we use. I mean, to me at least, right? I only think to a point, right? My gas station, all right? If my gas station don't have it, I'll go to another gas station. If that gas station doesn't have it, I probably have to drive a block up and go to another gas station. But it's not that though, right? He explains about the amount of inner rate that we use the fossil fuel. In next 20 or 30 years, will be out. Maybe I'm not explaining in a correct way, but I think the information is. I went on and researched a little bit about it. It seemed like it's a true thing that he was talking about it. So obviously, the powerhouses, the power country in the world, nations, they're depositing, they're saving up their fuels. I mean, he's somebody who went to MIT. Everything he talks is pretty genius. Like, I paid attention in a deep sense. Makes sense. So you might as well go and check it. It's interesting though. Not everybody is in a situation where they can quit their job, but he was in position. He has saved up some money. Hey, I was just bored and then sitting at home, and this girl said, Pala, we're going to Five Below. One more try. Bold. By the way, that video I was talking about, Gobi, the first one, it had 17 or 16 million views, right? Nobody just watches for nothing. So there's definitely, I guarantee you, there's some learnings to it. I'm gonna put a link out there for you. So he talks about in that big corporation, big hospital, that he felt that he was the most unhappiest person in the entire hospital working. So that's how he felt at the time when he was there. So that has also a lot to do with why he quit. I'm not judging or no disrespect whatsoever, but one thing I definitely started to see and change in me is like not to judge by its cover. He looked so simple. Initially I thought, was he insane? एउटा यले भनेको एकजना बहिनी राम्रो रहेछ यहाँनिर हेल्प गर्ने मैले रङ पिक गरेछु ल ल खजिङकी कार्ड खो see if this is the same one. Can you check to see? I think I picked the wrong one. Did it say 14 Pro Max?
14 Pro Max, yeah.
Did it say?
Yeah.
Is this the same thing?
Yeah, same exact thing.
Oh, never mind. I just take one. Same, right? 100%.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, put this back then.
Same exact thing. I think I'm gonna pay now.
Yeah? I'll join you in the front, okay? God. Your glass अस्ति मैले TikTok मा भेटाएको थिएँ $12 मा. So I didn't have a high expectation. काम गरेछ है by the way. यसको यो चाहिँ translate गर्दो रहेछ, which I'm yet to use it. No, done. Let's go. Translate गर्दो रहेछ. Also you can use it as a headphone. From the TikTok. It's not Meta, possibly Jetta. I'm yet to figure out the translation part. It also translates. That excitement is always there. As long as it's giving me decent quality, I'm happy. It's got the cable, manual, ooh, clear glass. All right. It said power on. I need a first look reaction.
Looks normal.
But just the look of it, how is it?
It looks good.
Good, good. I want to show you something, okay? This is the guy I'm talking about. Wait, I don't know you paying separately.
Because first you wanted to use our own money rather than using you guys' money for random stuff.
Okay, you have gummy. This is eating. Was sticker.
And this is squishy.
T, you got 3. What do Azalana got?
I got gummy, stickers, and this. So they have the same thing but different.
This I am are.
No.
Sorry. Oh, this is gummy. Dikhare.
Squishy.
Oh, so you both have squishy.
Yeah.
So this had the dumpling rice, some veggie and meat for $12. But guess what? It's 50% off, guys. Okay. Yeah, see. After 5, usually they put some sales, eh? At the H Mart in Long Island City. And a point. So that's the Freedom Tower.
Oh, big.
So this has got blueberry, strawberry, banana, lots of ice, and tequila. Hey you.
End this now.
So what I did is, when I watched his entire video, I tried to read between the lines of what he's saying. Yes, he said, okay, the hospitals I worked for, the industry he was in was great, the people were great and all that. There was a slight bit of hesitation in his face while he was saying it. Put a clip over here. Let's watch that first and come back to my video.
It's a problem because our medical system isn't set up this way. I'm not knocking any hospital or group that I worked with. I had the privilege to work with really amazing people in amazing hospitals, amazing institutions. But the way that everything is set up in the whole country, it's not any particular hospital. The way things are set up is that the hospital needs to make money. They need to make money, they need to grow economically. They need to grow economically. And the problem there is that if you figure out a way to help patients heal, and that way doesn't include a pill or a surgery, well,
he talks about like when he can present a solution to the patients that he was dealing with, like that did not require surgery, pills, medication, expensive, all of that. That is a troublesome for the hospital because it's an economic thing. It's obviously a financial thing. It's an industry that the hospital needs to make certain amount of money. Yes, they're in a health business, healing business, right? Getting people fitter and better business. But I feel it myself when I go to a doctor. I try to, while he's assessing me, I'm assessing him, right? Knowingly or unknowingly, mostly. In my back of my mind, is he really helping my cause? Is he really here with the interest that I have, interest to help myself? Is he there to do that? So I thought of getting back to the shape. So I've been trying everything except for doing exercise. I hate doing exercise. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be saying this. It's not the most inspirational thing I've said. But I do eat 2 meals a day. I've been eating 2 meals a day for past 4 months. My weight has been pretty in check. At one point, I was touching 180. So today, I'm 174. It's giving me a slight little buzz. All right, it's a Friday night, so people used to come to his clinic with the chronic diseases related to neuro. Some may require surgery, but he would talk to different patients in different levels based on what the challenges, the difficulty, the pain, the sickness, the illness is. He would present each individual patient differently with the solutions. Like he would talk about exercising it, how to stay fit mentally, because a lot of the mental challenges also has some sort of connection that leads to, trigger and in certain ways. So he would do all sort of things, and I guess maybe that's the reason why the administrators, the hospital, people who runs it, they found out he did not fit. In my mind, probably that could be the reason that he's not sharing to the public in open. So that might have led to him leaving the surgeon. I never have thought in such a manner that he explained this, right? He has a pet. So those of you who have a pet, right? I'm sure you love them very well. You feed them, you take them to walk and all that. You ever imagined, he tells, you ever imagined when you go to work for 8, 10, 12 hours, you leave your dog home unattended. He's talking about his story, unattended. And his life must be boring. Like, we just tend to think that, we feed them and drink, serve them food and drink in a bowl of water, that like in terms of the dog's point of view would be like there's nobody around. So he wanted to, one of the reasons he mentions is that also because he wanted to spend a very memorable life along with the dog growing, and then he wanted to have a good memory of spending a good time with the dog. He uses one analogy about, say you have a house, and from the ceiling, if it starts to leak, and then obviously makes a hole up there, and say it stops after a little bit, and then you go on to fix the hole, that would not be the solution. He says it. It's just fixing the drywall isn't the solution. He talks about openly, without mentioning any name, that medical system in this country, it's not correct. That was the main, I think, leading cause of he seeing the bigger picture and then leaving the industry. He clearly said, okay, doctors are in danger. Imagine that you're doing things that does not require surgery. And I'm in the hospital, guess what? I mean, every x-rays you do, every MRIs you do, surgeries you do, doctor visits you do, but then they make money of it. So they want to do as many tests as possible, as many procedures as possible. I had a gallbladder removal surgery. Not a big thing. I say it because I'm living a healthy life, a normal life, and you might have to make a slight adjustment to your diet, but it's not a big deal. I know at least 10 people around me in my circle, they have had gallbladder removal surgery. I remember going to this doctor. Doctor name was Dr. Dower. It's a funny story actually. So one afternoon, I had a chronic pain, like it was very deep, tight, sharp pain, not a dull pain, sharp pain. I was right here. It was a summertime. This was about six years ago. I went upstairs and took a little breather, but then the pain got bigger. So, and then it was so extreme that I was this close to calling an ambulance to go to a hospital. So, and I gave myself, okay, I'm going to give myself extra 5 minutes now, and this would be it. Now I'm going to call ambulance. In that 5 minutes, the pain actually went down and it settled. So then say, you know what, let me see through the day, and maybe I'll decide what happens next. The hour passed by, day passed by. After 3 or 4 days later, and I started a similar kind of pain, but it was not as bad as, this time, that time. That day, after 3 or 4 days, I decided now this is something recurring now. There must be an issue, so I go get checked. I went to, I made an appointment. I saw a doctor. You can look it up. It's Dr. Dower at Mount Sinai. I saw him 4 times. So the first time when I saw him, obviously he said, okay, you know what? They did some testing, I think like sonogram or some sort, and they say, yeah, you've got some stone issue. For that, you have to remove your gallbladder. And it was my first experience, no research. Obviously, a specific organ that it has a specific job in your body, the system, the way it works. So to me, it was like shocking, and immediately, the negative neurons start to work on my brain and says like, no, I don't think I have to do that. And the doctor goes, he flips his shirt like this, right? Look, I've done myself on me. I removed my gallbladder, and I'm like 73 years, 74 years old guy, and I'm living a normal life. And then in my mind, I'm thinking like, he's trying to sell me something. Long story short, I said no. I'm gonna check, I'm gonna monitor this, and then I'll come back later if I decide to do it. For now, I don't have any pain, but if there's any alternative, suggest me anything, give me pills or whatever. And he said, you know what, if you're not sure, you don't want to do it, that's fine, but this might be a problem in the future, so I'm just telling you. And I went home. 2 months later, I had some sort of pain again, and then I went back to him again. This was second time. So he goes like, oh, he didn't remember me. And this time he's like, he looked at the chart and he recognized me, or he saw a chart and he told me, okay, so I told you before you have to do it, so now you're gonna do it. So then I made an appointment. Fast forward 3 weeks later, now I think it's in the middle of August, September, 6 years ago. It's starting to get a little chilly. I remember going in there, and third time. So he saw me. 2 days before the surgery, they gave me a date to come there and assess and vitals, whatnot, and all that information. I went there and I spoke to a nurse, and then I saw a doctor. When I saw a doctor, I was supposed to have a brief talk before the surgery. My gut feeling said something that, okay, you know what, maybe you can just push it for now and then see if I can cancel this. My gut feeling did not say go for it. Third time, I was seeing him for third time now at this time. And I said, I'm going to say beep it. All right. So I told doctor, I'm so sorry. I know I've seen you 2 times already in the past, and this is third time. I'm going to have to say no now. I'm so sorry. And I did not say much, and I returned. Clearly, he was not happy. Right. The point of me telling this story is, in my mind, I'm thinking they're trying to sell you something. But then who would know in actuality that I really needed that surgery? I don't know. But maybe he's 100% right. Maybe he's trying to sell me something. Oh, well, point is this. Like, if he does the surgery, obviously he would make money off it. Is something that I was stuck with. Negative thought. Right? And then I came back that day. I think 3 or 4 months passed by. Cold time. It was winter time. Then I made a final appointment. Okay, you know what? This time I made up my mind, I'm going to do the surgery. In between, now I have done enough researches that even His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he had done gallbladder surgery. There's something called bile, a fluid that flows, right? So this gallbladder controls the flow of the bile, right? It does not let it flow relentlessly, but it just let it flow enough to tackle all the greasy, oily stuff that you eat, we consume, and then you process it, and then that's what it does, basically, the bile, controlling of the bile. But removing of the gallbladder out of your system, the bile, it flows automatically. There's no control over the flowing of the bile. As a result, the diarrhea is very frequent. It happened in the beginning, but now that I control my food, that the way I eat, after the food visit, I set up a date. I did the surgery. Surgery was in and out, 30 to 40 minutes, probably 3 to 4 hours of recovery time, and then you're up and running. Actually, you'll be anesthetic, so no pain. You come home, lay down, a little bit of movement on a liquid diet. 10 to 12 days later, you'll be up and running and you'll be able to go to work. So they plug 3 holes, inserts camera, Caesar procedure, whatever. So all that kind of stuff, right? You would not know what's going on, so you would not feel anything. For the past 5 years, I had no pain, and it's been good. So if you're debating over gallbladder surgery, do the research. Research would be to do whether I need it or not, right? It's not risky surgery. I'm not here vouching that it's absolutely risk-free, but they would say 99.9%. So negative thought would come in, whether they're there for their interest, or your interest, right? If your interest and their interest aligns, that would be a good doctor. So Mr. Gobi was a good doctor. And he would do all sort of other things besides letting the patients have surgery and painful and pills. He would tell them, like, mental, physical exercise, this and that. And to an extent, he was able to help patients. And there are patients that I come to know that, after he tells a story in this YouTube channel on the video, that people will write, oh, you know what, I'm your patient and you did the surgery on me. Thank you. You provided this method of helping myself healing such and such problems that they had. I think his purpose is to help people from his mind level. So such is the story about this guy. So morally, he thought it was not the right for him to stay for so long. As a result, doing that job day in and day out, putting so many hours, he said he gained 40 pounds. He was chubby, big man, that he would die if he was to continue for the next 20 years. That was his state, mental state. His wife wasn't working, so he had to continue for the time being. You could be in your 20s, late 20s, 30s, or 40s. So there will be a point of time in your life, what they call is a midlife crisis. Now, this term is overhyped. It has different meaning to it for the different stages of your life. But Gobi thought that his midlife crisis was then when he was doing that job in the hospital. He's a lucky one that he had an amazing wife. He said he had saved up some money, seeing him so frustrated, and he thought he was going to die doing this job if he had to continue for a few years. He admitted the money was great. The point of it also, it's not always the money. I think there's a phase, right, in our life, right? As a child, you don't think about money. Your job is to go to school. After, when you're done with your studies, the later phase, the second phase that comes when you're looking for a job. But then along with the job, I think there has to be some sort of satisfaction in terms of happiness, balance. He wasn't getting that. And his wife told him one day to quit the job. And he was taken by surprise. What? No, I'm not quitting job. How? When? What? He started saying all that. So when he quit the job, after he quits the job, when he got back to his home, the day he woke up after he quit his job, that day he felt the most happiest. Now, that's the moral of the story. In the end, I think if you were to bottle it and then bring one element out of all these learnings, all these life learnings, it's that basically, essentially, everybody wants to be happy. If it's a short term, it's not happiness to me, right? Just like eating a good food, watching a good movie, and having a nice conversation, those are short-lived. But he woke up that day, he felt a big burden taken off his shoulder. That's how he expresses in the video. And that's when I think there was the peak moment of his video. This is all into like 45 minutes of watching his video. There I felt, wow, this is why. He found his why. By no means, he's not telling, or I'm not telling to quit any job that you're already doing it. But there has to be some job that fits and then gives you some sort of happiness to you. It's not me saying to do all these things, but basically these are my learnings over the past many years, and from this video in particularly. I found it interesting, so this is why I thought of making a video about this. When some things that you do in terms of your job, it's holding you so tight, but then if you let go, and then meaning, say if you have to quit your job, and then because it's not giving you inner satisfaction and it's mentally depressing, and you think that, oh, I don't have a plan B, plan C, I don't have any other plans. It talks about, and I totally agree, sometimes having no plan is a good thing, but it all comes down to, all right, so don't quote me everything that I'm saying it and what he says is correct. Like I mentioned earlier, every phases, right? In the earlier phases where you might have borrowed loan, you might be under debt, you don't have to do any work. There's no looking, left or right, but you just have to go with it. But then after a point, you have some savings. If you take time off for a week, 2 weeks, or a month, it should be for you. In the end, you are important. And I apply to myself, I tell my wife, and I tell my kids a lot too. You're important. Your mental health is important. Nobody, you might have good friends, you might have unconditional siblings, families, uncles, aunts, but I think most importantly is for you. You got to take care of yourself first. You have to be happy. You have to be in a state that way you can take good care of yourself, so you can take care of others. I'm towards the end of the video now, and I'm gonna sum it up. It's how I feel and how I felt and how I have been feeling in general in life, okay? My 40-some years of life experience. I mean, we come to this world without a choice. So, but then, once you landed, then your life journey starts it. But then responsibility grows, become, adult, job, married, kids. So it has a huge spectrum. So if the spectrum starts from here until ends here, if you're around here, right, midway through, what is the most important thing? I think most people would say money. Yes, it is money. To an extent, yes. If not the most, yes, it is. Now, question is, what is the use of the money? He realized the money wasn't the case. That was going to deliver happiness to him. In the end, we all agree. I think happiness is all what we live for, long-term happiness. So I've seen enough cases where people have enormous amount of money, tons of money that can buy everything that they ever wanted. But then when it comes to unconditional love, especially from within, right? He talks about lean on to the people who cares about you. So now if you can count those people, how many are there who cares about you, really, it's not amount of money. I think you should make money enough. During the difficult times, you can help yourself get out of the troubles, but not to the point where you lose your relationships around. That's the key focal point from my learning from his video. Good morning, another day. I'm just looking at these cars, man, lined up all the way from here. And then there's another car here. I'm at the end of the line, going in this car wash over here. Right now, waiting for my people to arrive from Canada. It's interesting. They're here for 6 hours, meaning they're for a transit. After 6 hours, they are headed to Orlando. In this meanwhile, in the 6 hours, they wanna come out, and my brother-in-law, he is interested in thali. He must have craved so bad. So I say, okay, so I'm picking them up. It's gonna be 4 of them. Amala, Jambala, Chilangzom, and Chorodashi. So, and I'll take them to, I don't know, one of the restaurants in Jackson Heights. So I don't know which one to take. I'm thinking Annapurna. Laula, can you style this?
Thank you for having this. Hello. Oh, we on?
Yeah, good.
Yes.
그래서 자물을 학치면서 하니.
Hi, Jamala.
Yeah.
Hi, Jamala.
It's the breakfast time is over now. They don't sell eggs after 11 o'clock.
Okay. Like, I don't really know where.
Mixed nation if you order jalmama and the kang
Salmon and something mixed.
Jamala and me do cheers separate. Cheers. Surdi. Apa sih guam kan? Saya guam.
Oh ya, ada so.
Chingi saya marah.
Yes, Joel. It's really good.
Yeah, Jamala, that's your cham-cham. China.
It doesn't matter. Lunch is Anichelaki, Morangi. I know this must be very noisy, windy. Anikorangi favorite Bagela Maharaja Safa, what we call Safa literal sense like Natsama Chatung Samosa Jisa. That was it to the Chasha Sumba Samsha. 3 o'clock. They have to leave by 3:30. Of course. Of course, bye, have fun, okay?
Bye. Bye. 30 minutes.
Yeah, good luck.
La.
Good luck. Good luck 하는 거 하고요. 딱 까봐 보도 돼.
Oh my god, they're right here.
여기 봐요, whatever you have.
Okay, thank you.
Look, be safe. Be safe. Sister, lato. Jamala can hug masa. Jamala, you can give me a hug, man. Did you? Ayaw,